What's up, movie lovers? Thanks for clicking on my channel. So After Hours is a 1985 dark comedy film directed by Martin Scorsese about a guy named Paul who goes out on a date one night, one thing leads to another, and next thing you know he's being chased by vigilantes and is having just about the worst night of his life. We've all been there. And right from the start, this movie has really jarring credits, and there's a really big contrast between certain imagery you'll see in the film and the music that they use to represent it. The music of the film is also very eclectic and kind of throws you off as an audience member. For the most part, it's kind of like this synth mixed with Debussy, but then every once in a while they'll throw in a song that just kind of, it's like a hardcore punk song or some classical music or something completely random to kind of keep you on your toes. And the main character of this film, Paul, is pretty relatable, even though he's still a jerk a couple times throughout the film. He's lonely, he wants to get out one night and do something different. He meets a girl, he thinks it's gonna go well. And as the series of events unfold and Paul finds himself on the run, he keeps meeting person after person who at first seems kind of normal, and then he slowly realizes that they are insane. As the movie goes on, he just kind of gets more and more crazy because the absurdity of the situation is hard for him and the audience to wrap their heads around. And honestly, I don't think that the term dark comedy really fits this film. It is kind of dark, but it's really more just surreal and cosmic. This movie almost feels like if someone took Groundhog's Day and then mixed it in with like some sort of H.P. Lovecraft short story, but then it was set in New York in the 1980s and directed by Martin Scorsese, who was probably coked out of his mind at the time. There are some really funny moments in the film. The part where Paul just gets to vent about his entire night and he's recounting everything that's happened and you're just kind of left there to bathe in the absolute insanity of it all is one of the funnier scenes in the movie. And there is also a couple throwaway jokes here or there where he's just kind of gotten to a point where he's like, yeah, whatever, I guess I'll get blamed for that too. There's also a few jokes that are very blink and you miss them, like when he's explaining why there's one apartment in the area he could crash at, but he doesn't want to, and then you find out the reason why. And there's a couple points where Paul as a character lets his temper get the best of him and he lets his irritability make him say things that he shouldn't do. And there is one point where it's like, okay, well, you know what? At first I was feeling sorry for you, but now this just kind of feels like karma. You are getting what you deserve. And then you keep going and you're like, okay, maybe you paid your debt on that. And this movie is very fast paced. From the first scene, the camera is swiveling in onto your main character and you're just like, okay, I guess we're in the thick of it. But it is also a bit repetitive at times because there's multiple scenes where the main character will come across someone, they seem kind of normal, he says something wrong or they do something a little weird, he runs off, finds another character, same thing happens. And that is the point of the movie, but it does get a bit exhausting as you're watching it where you just know that, oh, this is going to be a bad situation, this is going to be a bad situation. That's one of the themes of the movie where it's like, you gotta pay your penance, and if you keep trying to kick the can down the road, you're gonna have to keep paying more penance. There are plenty of moments in this movie where you're like, what the fuck am I watching? But you're still invested. This is not the type of movie you can just pop in if you want to have a nice relaxing night. You know what? As much as I love Scorsese, he doesn't have too many movies that are really very relaxing, but this one definitely is one that is a bit more anxiety inducing than some of his other films. So moral of the movie is, take a little bit of time to listen to people, you know? They might be a bit weird, they might be a bit out there, but they could be going through some rough stuff. Just be nice, show a little bit of compassion, because if you don't, the cosmic forces of karma are gonna kick your ass. For me, this is a decent Scorsese movie. It's not among his best, but probably middle of the road for him. It's solid, but at the same time, it's just a bit too stressful and a bit too abstract at times to really fully get into for me. But then again, that weakness is one of its best strengths because I honestly can't think of another movie like After Hours. It's certainly a very unique and memorable film, and one I'll probably want to go revisit again and maybe pick up on things that flew over my head the first time. So for me, if I was grading it, I'd say After Hours is B+ territory. So those are my thoughts on After Hours, but enough about me. What do you think of this film? And what are some of your favorite abstract films? Films that are just out there. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments below. And if you like this video, please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, all that YouTube stuff. I know it's a cliche to ask, but it really does help the channel grow, so thank you in advance for that. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you at the next video.